From the station that made country music famous, 650 AM WSM, this is a Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Hey, it's Charlie Maddowson. In this episode, we Zoom with Mandy Barnett. Mandy joined us from her home the morning of Monday, November 1st of 2021. The next day, on the Tuesday Night Opry, Mandy would be inducted as the newest member of the Grand Ole Opry. A lot to talk about with our friend, Mandy Barnett.
WSM Radio all over the world at 650 AM. WSMOnline.com. App download to your smartphone. And, of course, Circle Television all over the world. Home to the Opry. 5,000 Saturday night broadcasts are complete. And you'll see it in prime time at 9 Eastern, 8 Central Time this Wednesday on Circle. Country and Mandy Barnett play here. Guess who, in a matter of hours, and I know she's counting them down, is about to become the newest member of the Grand Ole Opry, and with whom I have the longest history of anybody in this town.
This just makes me so happy to say Mandy Barnett.
It
and
does.
I love seeing her smiling face. How are you?
I'm doing so good. Oh, I'm just over the moon.
Mandy Barnett.
And Bill, I'm so glad you were there that night.
Yes.
That's so great you were there. You were there.
And you're one of those people, when you cry, the way you cry makes everybody cry. It is the most touching. I mean, to our core, we were just so over the top emotional the night you were invited by Connie Smith.
Well, thank you. I don't cry a lot. So, yeah, I mean, I just burst into tears because it was just such a special night. I mean, it couldn't have been any more special on my birthday there at the Opry, and you're there, and Connie, she's singing happy birthday to me. I mean, it was just, it was really, really worth the wait.
I was going to ask, did you have any inclination as to what was happening? Or what? No. Did you even let yourself get to that point? Because I can imagine, how many times have you played now, Mandy? 500 and what? Do you know?
I don't really know how many. I think it's around 500. But I'm not 100% sure. There's a guy that keeps track of it. He keeps pretty good records.
I think it's 519.
519?
I think 520 will be tomorrow night. Yeah.
Tomorrow?
Was there ever any other performances where you're like, you know what, maybe tonight? Or did you let your mind go there?
I stopped letting my mind go there much. I mean, I'm not going to give up of a life. I'm not going to give up on a lifelong dream. That's something that, I mean, ever since I was a little girl, 10 years, I mean, the first person that hired me was Archie Campbell. Oh. So, and then I'm working at Dollywood shortly after that. And then Melvin Sloan, he's like, you got to come on down to Nashville. And, you've gone as far as you can in East Tennessee. So you need to come on to Nashville. And so Melvin started helping me get with the folks at the Midnight Jamboree. So it's just so wonderful to see it all come full circle like that, and it's a lifelong dream.
What did Archie Campbell have you? What did he hire you to do, Mandy?
Well, I did a show when I was about 8 years old with Wilma Burgess, Chet Atkins, and Archie Campbell. And Archie took such a liking to me. He said, "Hey, I've got this place over in Pigeon Forge," and he said, can't really pay you much, but you can come sing anytime you want to, and you can sell your tapes. I had a gospel tape, and so I would go and sing, and I'd always make enough money to pay for all the gas and hotel rooms, and so on the weekends, my mom and my cousins and aunt, we would load up in the car and head to Pigeon Forge and do his. It was Archie Campbell's Hee Haw Village. And it was just great. It was just a cast of local performers and band members and people that had done stuff in Nashville too. But it was a lot of fun, and he was so good to me.
I think one of the coolest parts about that invitation night, though, was just how special it was for Connie Smith to do it. And she was so honored, and just, I mean, when she tears up, I tear up, and then you posted it on Instagram and I cried again. I mean, I went through a box of Kleenex that day, but it was just so special to Connie as well.
she's such an iconic country performer. I mean, to have her come out, this icon in the Country Music Hall of Fame, this person I've looked up to my whole life, and have known her a good portion of that. It's actually, she and Marty, when they first started dating, came to Always Patsy Cline. And so I've had a long history with the two of them. And so for her to do it, it was even more special. She's such a wonderful singer on her own and such a legend. But when her voice broke, that did me in.
Now, Mandy, I have to ask the two important questions. First song that you're going to sing as an inductee, and what are you wearing?
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't want to give it all away.
It takes a while to think about what you want to wear, though, that night. That's a big one. That's like a wedding and prom all together.
It really is. I have a few things in mind, but eventually I'll settle on something. So it's not definitive, but I have to feel good in it.
Right.
And I mentioned
it's got to have the right vibe. But I'm so glad that we're heading into fall now, because I'll be able to wear a pretty dress. So
now, is your induction going to be the person inducting you going to be a surprise, or do you know in advance who your inductor is going to be? Do you get to make that choice?
I believe that Connie and Marty are going to be inducting me.
Okay.
So, I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah. Some artists want to be surprised, and others want to know, want to choose because of the relationship you described.
Well, the surprise really was the other night. I mean, I couldn't be any more surprised if I really felt like one of those fainting goats. I'm
glad you didn't faint.
I'm telling you, if you watch that video, there's a point where my head goes back and all I could see was just like Connie Smith's face just kind of twirling around in circles. I thought I was going to just fall out like a goat.
And then you're going to be a part of, you mentioned it's now fall. Well, it's soon going to be winter, and you're going to be a part of Opry Country Christmas for 4 weeks as well, with Larry Gatlin and Charlie McCoy. And boy, those are going to be fun nights too.
Oh, I'm looking so forward to that. And that's going to be great. And of course, Nashville has such a great history with Christmas songs. So many of the iconic Christmas songs were recorded here, and Jingle Bell Rock, all the great stuff by Burl Ives and Bobby Helms and Brenda Lee. So we'll be doing some of that stuff too, and paying tribute to this great town. So I am looking forward to that. But tomorrow night, I can't believe it. I've just been pinching myself since September 28th.
You mentioned Archie Campbell a little earlier and how he took a liking to you, I think was the phrase that you used. What is it about Mandy Barnett that these guys like Harold Bradley, I'm thinking of right now, your longtime friend and mentor, what is it about you that brought a connection, that they saw something in you and wanted to encourage that and bring it along?
I guess it was something that I don't know, maybe the type of music I was singing. And kids, they need encouragement. I mean, it meant the world to me that someone like Archie Campbell and Harold Bradley would take time to help my career and help me along, give me opportunities, so that I wouldn't be where I am right now if those things hadn't happened. They all added up over the years. All the great performers and musicians at the Opry have been wonderful to me, and not just the performers, but the stagehands and folks like yourself, Bill. And I had a great friendship with Harold Hensley, the legendary announcer on 650, and he was just so sweet to me, and had a wonderful friendship. And I'm so lucky that I got to know so many of the great performers and musicians and radio personalities over the years at the Opry.
Well, my first ever stage presents, for people who are just joining us, when I got to town in April of 1994, Kyle Cantrell brought me to town, and he says, hey, Always Patsy Cline is debuting, it's premiering at the Ryman Auditorium, and the Ryman's just reopened. Garrison Keillor had done Prairie Home Companion in there, and I think that was about it. And we want you to go open the show, introduce the show. So that's when I met Mandy Barnett. You would have been how old then, Mandy?
I was 18.
So
18 years old.
Now you fast forward 27 and a half years to the night Connie Smith invites her to become the newest member, and I'm there just a few feet away. And then tomorrow night I get to be there when she becomes officially inducted as a member of the Grand Ole Opry family.
Well, I couldn't be any more proud. It's a real honor, and thank you, and thanks to all the folks at the Opry. It's a dream come true, and I am just so deeply honored. I'm going to try not to ugly cry tomorrow, but I can't promise anything. I mean, you just can't help what your face looks like. I keep seeing that picture, and I'm haunted by that picture of me just out there ugly crying. But I just couldn't help it. It really means so much to me. It really does.
And it's obvious. Mm-hmm. Welcome to the family, lady. Can't wait to join you tomorrow night.
Oh, Mandy.
Thanks for listening to our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Our program director at WSM Radio is J. Patrick Tittle. Our digital producer is Haley Hall. Marketing and promotions director is Amanda Cannon. And I'm Charlie Matos. If you like what you've heard, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And leave us a review on iTunes. It really does help new people find the show.